Now, here's an unusual question I see being asked rather frequently. So I have just found out you can buy and collect ancient coins. Awesome, I'm super excited. So what should I collect? And that's curious, huh? This is a question that gets me a bit confused. I mean, why do I, another collector, have to tell you what to collect? Isn't this the entire point of collecting, and shouldn't you figure out what you want to collect by yourself? I've given this question some thought, and I think I found a solution. People aren't really asking you what should they collect. They very likely know, or at least have an idea of what they want to collect. They just don't know how to go about organizing a collection, coming up with a theme, and actually making out a set of coins they aim to collect. In other niches of numismatics, such as modern coin collecting, for example, there are predetermined sets and certain collection themes the vast majority of people collect. The US is particularly good at this, since their market and the entire hobby is just so mature. So you have, for example, your typesets for all denominations, you have your date sets with dates on a certain denomination. Some people focus entirely on errors, and the market has even come up with support material for these predetermined sets. So, for example, you can buy an album of pennies, a typeset album with all of the denominations ever made, or you don't need to think about anything really. You just fill the album up, and the only thing you need to worry about, since you already have a place where to put the coins, is to just hunt down the nicest coin to fill each slot. It's very straightforward, it's very simple, no headaches. You just have fun hunting the coins, which is really good. Unfortunately, this is not really the case with ancient coins because, well, we're talking about thousands of years. All of the different civilizations and their different coinages. So it's pretty much on your laps, beginner collector, to figure out among the sea of awesome coins you look on catalogs and auctions. So you need to figure out what in the world you're going to collect and what coins will you be looking for. And understandably, this can be very overwhelming. So if you're either making the transition to ancient coins from another niche, or if you are starting out and you're just feeling overwhelmed by the sheer diversity of coins, hopefully this video will give you, if not direction, at least the right questions you should ask yourself when figuring out what to collect. So let's start by getting a couple of things clear. This is a hobby. You are not applying for a job. You're not completing a task. This is not a chore. So remember that following a set or setting up restrictions on your collection is completely optional. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having as your only prerequisite for buying a coin the fact that I like this coin and it brings me joy. And that's it. This is absolutely fine. Also, remember, if you do want to set goals, that these are flexible goals. You might very well add coins to your set because you think they belong in your collection, or remove certain coins because, for example, they don't fit your budget. Remember, this is supposed to be fun, and part of the fun is the fact that the goal you're trying to achieve is challenging, but also, well, it's also achievable. So, what might happen to many of you is what happened to me when I was starting out. I'm putting up on the screen now a series of coins I bought when I was starting. In fact, I still have all of these coins. And you will see it is a bit of a mess. I have Byzantine coins, medieval, Roman, Greek, even a modern Brazilian coin. This looks more like an accumulation of random coins than an actual collection. And although it is good and it will certainly save some money and time if by any chance you are 100% sure of what you want to collect from the very start, I would say there's no real issue in being a little bit dispersed at first. You are figuring out what you like after all, and the best way to figuring out what you like is actually to have coins in your hand and realize, I like this, I don't like this. So in this experimental phase, the only tip I would give is that you try to keep it affordable. What affordable will mean to you depends wildly. For some people that's $20 or euros. For some, 200 isn't too big of a deal. Just do your research on auction results and at the main online marketplaces. first, so you at least don't overpay. And by the way, if you don't know where these marketplaces and auction results are, I recommend you take a look at my beginners playlist. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you head over to my channel and check it out. It's an important and really nice little playlist which is going to help you out when you're starting out. So after some time exploring the market and with some coins in your table, another normal tendency is for you to naturally start diverting to a certain area or a certain theme. Maybe you see yourself looking at your Roman or your Greek coin more often than the rest of your beginner batch. Maybe instead of one type of coin, you see yourself drawn to a certain theme, like animals on coins, portraits, gods, anything that entices your curiosity. We might have something here. It comes to most of us, and that's the embryo of what should become the theme of our collection. Okay, so now what do? I have a coin I like. How do I transform it into a set? How do I transform it into a collection I can curate, make grow, and transform into something awesome? Well, that's the tough part, although it isn't so tough, so bear with me. You see, your coin of interest did not exist in a vacuum. It is part of a numismatic timeline. Let's take a Greek coin, for example, a tetradrachma of Alexander the Great. It's an easy and recognizable example to begin. On the obverse, we have the face of Hercules, some say the face of Alexander himself, and on the back we have Zeus, the main god of the old Greek pantheon. Think in the term of timelines. This coin is part of a political timeline, in the sense that before it, there were coins of Alexander's father, Philip II, and his predecessor, etc., etc. After Alexander, his empire was divided between his generals, who would in turn strike their own coins. It is inserted in a context. But it's not only about history, if you think about it, it's also part of a cultural and artistic context. Zeus is just one of the gods that show up on coins from this time period. What about Ares? What about Poseidon? What about Athena? Do these gods and goddesses appear on coins? Where are these coins from? Do I have contemporary coins who have these kinds of gods? What kind of stuff is out there? Look for that. You can actually look at the contemporary coins from your particular coin. People do not only use tetradrachma on their everyday trade. What other denominations and coins circulated alongside this coin? What was the entire monetary system of Alexander like? What about his drachma? What about his gold coins? What about the tiny little bronze denominations? Do you get where I want to get to here? Let's try being inquisitive. Let's try asking ourselves, what is the thing about the coin you like that will likely draw you to other similar coins? And what are these things, these characteristics that will eventually become the guidelines for your personal collection, for your personal coin set? Let's ask the same question with another coin. This is an Antoninianus of Emperor Probus. So a Roman coin. On the obverse, we see the emperor wearing some really interesting clothes, and on the reverse, we have a temple. Let's say this was your first Roman coin, and you're wondering, how can I transform this awesome coin into a collection? Once again, this coin did not exist on a vacuum. This coin was part of a long tradition of coins struck under the Roman Empire. If you go back in time, you find the earlier emperors. If you go forward, the following ones. What about the designs? Did Probus strike other types of coins? Spoiler alert, he did, and his coinage is marvelous. Did he strike other denominations? Ask yourself this question and look for what's available out there. What about the reverse? Maybe what called your attention wasn't something stylistic or history related. Maybe what appeals to you is the fact that there's a temple in the reverse. Are there more coins with temples? Are there enough coins around with construction and architecture themed that I could assemble a collection out of that? So, what's the point of me asking you these questions and asking you to ask yourself these questions? What I want to do here is try to help you find out exactly what triggers your interest on your coin. What is the theme, may it be history, art, the metal, that triggers the little collector bug that lives inside your head? Ask yourself these questions, and with the answers, look at what's out there in the market, and this might help you find by yourself what kind of coins should you collect, so you don't have to ask a random coin YouTuber who might have entirely different taste than you. And remember, this is always an open objective. It's absolutely okay to just change your desirable niche later. You just decide to collect something else later. That is perfectly fine. And as with any educational video, it's always a good idea to have an example to illustrate what I mean. So I'm going to present my own case. I am a Roman history nerd. I love the Roman Empire, legionaries, the Romans' monumental architecture, their ingenuity, the way they saw the world, their pantheon. So although I purchased some coins from different niches when I was starting out, I had at first at least the theme of my coins very clear: the Roman Empire. From Augustus to the moment I considered the downfall of the Roman Empire, which was the reign of Arcadius and Honorius. So, from the very first coins I got and from the first emperors I acquired, I realized that I loved silver. I liked how it looks, its weight, the fact I could afford silver coins, how they toned. So, this added another requirement for my set. Roman coins, from Augustus to Arcadius and Honorius, made out of silver, even if low purity silver. So whenever prices allowed, the coins would be silver. So now I have two requirements for my set. So as I got these two requirements and kept them in consideration and I started doing some research, I quickly realized a little problem. There's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to afford coins from certain emperors like Claudius or Caligula in silver. How am I going to solve that? Well, once again, and this will be different in your case, do research. Look at the market, see what's out there, see the options. So I found out that there are provincial coins, that is, coins not struck on Roman imperial mints. This allowed me, for example, to get a coin from Claudius in silver. However, certain emperors like Caligula are very expensive in silver. This led me to have to make a choice. Do I just skip Caligula? No, I can't. I can't do it. That's Caligula. Or do I just make an exception for him and any rare emperors I really like? So, okay, my typeset now has 3 rules and it's taken shape. I collect Roman imperial coins from Augustus to Arcadius and Honorius made out of silver or debased silver, preferably imperial silver, but base metals are also allowed if unavoidable. So, okay, often on ancient coins you will find that unimportant characters might sneak into the set and annoy you. For example, a coin of Balbinus, Pupienus, Pescanius Niger, Gordian II or the First. At least for me, coins from these guys don't bring me enough joy to justify the enormous price tags they command due to their rarity. So what did I do? I just accepted that I just don't have the kind of deep pockets to allow myself to buy rare emperors I don't care about while paying an arm and a leg doing so. And this led me to the main Roman Imperial set I am currently building. So let's go once again and review what the little rules for my set look like. So I collect Roman Imperial coins from Augustus to Arcadius and Honorius made out of silver or debased silver, preferably from imperial mints, but provincial issues are okay. Bronze coins are also okay if the price becomes a constraint. Rare and expensive emperors I don't consider relevant can be excluded from the list. I also added empresses to this time period, also excluding the very expensive ones, and added a Julius Caesar and a Mark Antony coin to the mix because they were fascinating characters I wanted to own, although they were not emperors. Oh, and let's not forget about condition, grade. I always remember myself to follow it, and I recommend you always do. It's a little golden rule for me. Buy the best coin you can afford. So as you can see, this is a very personal experience, and it is not at all a cut and dry set. It is a set made based on how much I can spend as a collector without spending so much on a hobby that it will start being unenjoyable, while also taking into consideration what I like, what I think would be challenging and rewarding, and at the end of the day, this is not a chore, that's a hobby. You're supposed to have fun. So if I have, for example, one coin from each emperor, but I really like Probus, for example, hey, I want to have another 4 or 5 because that particular emperor is awesome. I have also decided that for my favorite emperor, Antoninus Pius, one coin wasn't enough. I would like a coin of him as a Caesar under the previous emperor, Hadrian, a coin of him as an emperor, and a posthumous coin of him. Why? Because my collection looks better for me with these coins in there. Who knows what am I going to get interested in the future? After all, it's my little numismatic journey, and yours should be just as unique as the one I just explained. So now I would like to ask you, do you have a well-structured set you collect already? Do you just get what appeals to you and you don't really follow a rule? Have you stopped and used this little quote-unquote technique I just thought to figure out what you want and come up with a set? Share with us in the comment section down below. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope it was useful. Leave a like and consider subscribing if you did. I wish you all some very happy collecting, and I'll see you soon.